Hey guys, what's up? I'm Noah. This is Analog Resurgence, and today I'm talking about disc film, in case some of you guys out there are wondering, what is it, and can I shoot it? Disc film, a true 1980s photography fad if there ever was one. Kodak introduced disc film in 1982 to the masses, and it was going to be the future of amateur photography. Or at least that's what Walter Fallon, the chairman of Kodak at the time, thought, honestly. Now, disc film is exactly what it sounds like, a disc of film. The disc itself is protected by a thin plastic casing that is loaded into a special disc camera and shot. Now, the disc holds 15 images, and every time you take one picture, the camera rotates the film in the casing 24 degrees so you can take the next image. Sounds amazing, right? Nope, wrong. A single frame on the disc of film was about 8mm by 10.5mm in size, which is about 10% the size of a 35mm frame. 10%. 10. Now, to be fair, Super 8 film does have an even smaller frame size than disc film, but the difference is it's not a disc. So the images on disc film ended up always being really small and super grainy, and it was also a big pain for labs to develop at the time because it was a disc. So at the time in the mid-80s, you could buy disc film from such companies including Kodak, Fuji, Konica, and 3M. Now, Kodak also made disc film cameras along with a number of other manufacturers at the time. But usually they were pretty much just point and shoot automatic cameras, so you don't have a huge variety in the realm of disc cameras. But I do think that one of the standout disc cameras out there was the Minolta Disc 7. This camera had a mirror on the front and also had a selfie stick as an accessory. No, seriously, like an actual selfie stick. Like you took the camera and you could compose your images because you had a mirror on the front of the camera, and then you put it on this stick, and then you could take pictures of yourselves in the 1980s on disc film. Yeah. Sadly, Kodak killed production of their cameras for disc film in 1988, which is only 6 years after they introduced the format. So maybe it wasn't exactly the future of amateur photography. Now, this is pretty much as a result of just 35mm film being super popular and easier for film labs to develop. But Kodak did continue making disc film itself until New Year's Eve, 1999. Sorry, disc film, it looks like you are one format that we would not be partying it up in the millennium with. So, can you shoot disc film? Don't shoot disc film. Just let this be the one, just don't shoot disc film. But if you really need to know, disc film was introduced late enough that all the color disc film that existed was of the C41 process, which is the current chemical process that labs do. Meaning if you have disc film, you can, in theory, develop it using currently accessible chemicals. But pretty much all the disc film that you're gonna come across right now is like 20 years expired at this point, so it's not exactly the most accessible type of film out there to shoot. Also, if you think that film labs in the 80s were having a pain developing disc film, current day modern film labs are definitely not going to be set up to develop disc film. But there are a few out there that do this specialized process, and if any of you guys are looking for that kind of service, I will throw links down in the description to help you guys out to get those images off your disc film. So kind of like APS film, at this point in time, disc film is just one of those formats that maybe you should just forget about. Even if you're looking to shoot more obscure formats, I would probably put disc film much lower in the list in terms of things that you could look to shoot. Thank you guys so much for checking this out, and I hope that you enjoyed and you learned a little bit about the magic that is disc film. Now, an important note also is that disc film is not to be confused with Viewmaster film. That's a whole separate entity, and I'll focus on that a little bit in the future. But disc film and Viewmaster film are two different things. Subscribe if you haven't done so already, as I continue to post all sorts of analog content every week. From talking about different formats like these and just breaking down some other aspects about shooting analog formats and getting into them for the very first time. Thanks so much, and I'll see you guys soon.